Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time of stopping by. Hi, you are highly welcome. Please consider subscribing to my channel. To my old subscribers, I say thank you very much for all your support. I really appreciate them. So in today's video, we will be making this lovely gown for our princesses. Please watch and I'll see you at the end of the video. For this style, we'll be making use of our paper to mark out bodies before transfer it to our fabric. And for this, I'm marking out my zipper allowance because we're marking the front and our back measure bodies together. So the line I marked will serve as the center front, and the one behind it will be my zipper allowance. So I'm going to go ahead and take my half length measurement, which is 12 inches plus 1 inch allowance for joining. I'm going to go ahead and connect the line. The next thing I'm going to mark is my shoulder, half of my shoulder measurement. Remember our measurement is going to start from the first line, that's the center front, and that half of my shoulder is what I went down with for my armhole depth. And I'm going to go ahead and then connect the lines, extend the lines straight. And then for my neckline, I'm going to be marking at 2.5 inches for the length and then 3 inches for the width. Then I'll connect the line and then curve it for a round neck. Then I'm going to go ahead and mark my back neckline, which is 1.5 inches, because we are cutting the back one first before the front one. So remember I said that we are marking the front and the back bodies together, so I connected it to meet the front neckline. Then for my shoulder slope, I went down by 1 inch, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect it to my neckline. Just go ahead and do the same thing for your own. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my bust measurement. Remember our measurement is going to start from the line, that's the center front. And I'll also take my waist measurement. All measurements is going to be in the description box. And this gown is for a 6 to 7 year old girl, sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and then curve my armhole. And that's all for the bodies. We are going to cut the back neckline first, including the zipper allowance, then cut the back bodies first before removing the zipper allowance, and cut the front neckline before cutting the front one. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel to this moment, please hit on the subscribe button. Then for the bodies, I just cut it open from the bust line, because I wanted it to have a yoke. And for the down part, I added half inch to the upper side for us to join it to the yoke. And I cut out my main fabric, my bridal satin, and then my lining. And I made a notch at that zipper line so that I will know where it will be at the zipper side. And then for my yoke is into 2. I'm going to be using one to turn the other one, that's why I cut it into 2. So I'm going to go ahead and then remove my my zipper allowance, then make a notch there so that I will know my center front. So I'm going to go ahead and then cut out my front neckline, and then I'll transfer it to my fabric just like I did for the back one, my lining, my bridal satin, and my fabric. And I also added half inch for joining it to the yoke. I'm going to go ahead and make a notch on all of the fabric so that I will know where I'm going to put at the upper side of it. That's where I'm going to join to the yoke. And then for the yoke as well, I added half inch at the down part so I can join it to the other piece. And then I cut it out into 2. I'm going to use one to turn the other one. So the next thing I'm going to do is to open my yoke, the front yoke, place it on each other, and I'm going to go ahead and then stitch the neckline as well as the armhole. You can as well pin it down before stitching it down. And I did the same thing for the back yoke, and this is it after I was done stitching it down. So instead of notching it, what I'm going to do is to cut out the excess fabric there, because I don't want it to be showing through the net. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the front bodies as well. So this is it after I was done turning it inside out, the front and the back yoke. So for my body, the remaining of my body, I'm going to open my sequence fabric. Then I'm going to place the back of my sequence fabric on top or in front of my bridal satin. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So my bridal satin is facing the front of my bridal satin is facing the back of my sequence fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and then place my yoke in between on top of my sequence, my fabric, and then use my lining to cover it up. And I'm going to go ahead and then stitch it down so that I can be able to, by the time I turn it, I'll have my yoke in between my lining and my fabric. And I'll also do the same thing for my back neckline, for my back bodies. So I'm going to keep my bridal satin the front facing the back of my lining of my sequence fabric. Remember where we made our notch, don't mix it up. Remember to match all the notches together. So I'm going to go ahead and then place my yoke at remember to turn it to the zipper side to zipper side. That's the essence of that knot, of making notches there. Then I'm going to close it up with my lining, stitch it down, and then turn it inside out. I'll do the same thing to the other side of the back. And so this is it after I was done turning it, and I top stitch that place that I just showed you guys, and did the same thing for the back bodies. So I'm going to go ahead and then arrange the shoulders well, place the front facing front, and then stitch on the two shoulder. And this is it after I was done turning it. You can as well take out your zipper allowance there before stitching the two sides with your measurement or with your allowance that you added. So for the bridal satin at the down part, what you are going to do is to deduct your half length from the total measurement, mark it then plus 2 inches allowance for hemming and then for joining. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, and I have 2 fabric for this. The first one I cut will not be enough, so I'm going to be cutting 2, then join it. So I'm going to join the 2, then hem it the down part. Then I went ahead to gather it as well, and this is it after I was done gathering it and then hemming it. What I'll do next is to place my bodies front facing the gather front, and then I'm going to stitch it from one side to the other side. And whatever you're going to gather, you're not supposed to gather your zipper allowance, and it's going to be equal to your waist measurement. So this is it after I was done joining it together. Look at it, looking all beautiful. So what I'm going to do next is to close up the zipper allowance and then attach my zipper before we continue to our sleeve part. So for our sleeve, my round sleeve is 9 inches, but I'll be marking at 10 inches I added 1 inch allowance for joining. And my fabric is 10 inches. By the time I fold it into two, I have 5 inches. So my round sleeve measurement is 10 inches, right? Then I added 2 inches allowance for joining. That's 1 inch. Then I'm going to go ahead and then cut it out and cut off all the excesses around the fabric. And I'm going to cut the fabric open to have two of it. That's for the two sleeve. Then I use the same fabric to cut out my lining. And for my neck, you can cut out the width to be as long as you want it, but for the length is 4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this at my bridal satin, and for this I'm going to fold it into two, and then I'm going to leave about 1 inch away from the edge, stitch and start pleating it down. So I'm going to plait this first row. I had about 4 lines, but after I was done plating it, and this is it after I was done. So this is the lining I talked about that I cut out. I'm going to be using it to turn the fabric, so I'm going to be stitching at the all side of it, and when I get to this place that the net is blocking it, I'm going to push it in and then stitch it down, leaving one side open so that I can turn it inside out. And this is it after I was done stitching. You can go ahead and then cut out all the excesses there and then turn it inside out, and before attaching it to your armhole area. And that's all for this style. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you do. Please do not leave today without subscribing. Please hit on the subscribe button, join the growing family, and give me a thumbs up. Share my videos to family and friends, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.